in the beginning of my first year. And I worked hard for 3 years, on and off. I could never get it to heal. So I worked hard on and off for 3 years. Because the only reason to not work at the Ringling show is you have to be dead. There's no excuses. You either work or because you have to. Red Skelton was in Kansas City doing his one-man show. And of course, we couldn't go because we were doing our shows. We did 3 shows on Saturday. So we found out that Red Skelton liked bananas. And we sent over a giant, not a little bunch, a big thing. Our promo people helped us, and we sent over a big thing of bananas. And he was so touched by that, he actually came to the circus and sat and watched us do our coming gags. Well, I'd never met anybody famous in my life. And I'm like totally overwhelmed. I just didn't know how to act. And so I just was like very shy. And it was amazing to me. And so he came and saw our gags, and he went back to get ready for his show, and we were so excited. David Kaiser volunteered up one of his clown shoes, and we all autographed it and sent it to him. And he was so touched by that, he invited us to dinner. So that night, after 3 shows Saturday, put your makeup on at 11, and then at 11 o'clock at night, that the promo people, the publicity people told us that we had to go in makeup and costume. Yeah. So after having your makeup on for 12 hours, we fixed it as best we could, and we went to Gates Barbecue. Isn't that dandy? I don't think I ate a thing. I just sat at the end of the table because I remember Red was way down at the head of the table, and I was kind of down at the end and just like sat there and watched in awe of this amazing man. And he was so kind to us. And he had these big black glasses, hard heavy rim glasses that he wore. And he was kind enough to tell us stories. And he was actually disappointed because he wanted to meet us as people. And he was very kind. And there were 20-some of us, and he posed and had his picture taken with each one of us. And I'll never forget this because I was kind of the low man on the totem pole as a clown on the show, so I had a lot of insecurities about whether I was good enough to even be there. And I'll never forget, because I was in this costume, this was my agency, and I was in that costume, and I walked up to him, and I was so nervous, because it was like somebody pinched me, I'm standing next to a legend, I'm standing next to Red Skelton, and the picture is like me like this. You know, and I'll never forget, because I stepped away when I was done, and I was about ready to leave, and he took his glasses down, and he went, "Well, aren't you cute?" and I'm serious. I was like, in my head, I'm like, "I'm cute!" I started thinking about, I just moved to California, and I didn't want to do that. I was trying to get away from the circus. I didn't want to get back into it. I was trying to establish myself in another way. And so I said, "Oh, well, do you have anybody to make the gay costumes?" And Tim Holtz was like, you could just tell the look on his face. I never really thought about that. So I got the job to do that, and Christopher was the boss clown going over. He came down, and we worked together, and Frosty and I and a bunch of other people, we made all those costumes, and it was a really good experience. I ended up starting my own costuming company. After I got done working for Ringling, making those costumes, I'll never forget, I was sitting at the bar at the American Legion in Maple Lake with my dad having a beer and trying to decide. They wanted me to go to clown college and make the costumes in Japan, and the contract wasn't very good. And my dad just looked at me, and he was a man of few words, and he just said, "Pat, why don't you start your own business?" I was like, "Dad, I can't do that." He goes, "Sure you can, I'll help you." And he did. So that's what I did. I started my own company. I worked out in California for a while, and then I realized that I loved California and my friends there, but I needed to be back in Minnesota. I needed to be back where people could sew, and my parents were there and family to support me. So after 2.5 years living in California, I moved back to Maple Lake. And in the back room of my dad's store, I kept on with Pricilla Mooseburger Originals, and that was in 1989. And I've been making costumes ever since, and it's been a good life.